Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought I would do kind of a thoughts video today, talking about something which has been happening over the last week and needed a little bit of research into just to make sure that I could understand it all. Basically, after the last set of leaks when it came to War Thunder, which were data mined and also found in the asset viewer, basically somebody at Gaijin screwed up and leaked a bunch of vehicles that will probably be out in the future. They may be, they may not be. Obviously, all of this stuff is up in the air. But after that, it turned out that a lot of people worked out that the EULA exists. Now, if you don't know what the EULA is, it is the End User License Agreement, basically. So something that you sign up for when creating a War Thunder account, and you are bound to it, and so is your account. Now, there are two very specific things that should be read when it comes to this stuff that everybody should read, but nobody ever does. And I don't really understand why. It's kind of like when you have a contract and everybody skips to the end instead of reading it through. You should always read through the stuff in its entirety. And the same thing comes with games, especially when it comes to War Thunder, if you put many hours into it. There is the user agreement, which is the EULA, and then also the terms of use. Both of these things are quite long, technical documents, and they outline some stuff that you have to follow, the rules of the game themselves. A lot of legalese is at least the word that is generally used. And it's definitely worth reading through them. I'll leave links in the description to them, just in case you actually believe that you are breaking something in it. That means that your account can be terminated. Now, how does this apply to what's been going on? So obviously, with the massive leak, probably the largest leak in War Thunder's history, happening last week or about a week ago, a lot of people actually started pointing out things which are in the user agreement that you have to follow. And one of them is 3.2.9, no mining of hidden data. Mine or otherwise collect any game data which is not intended for display during normal, as intended by Gaijin, exploitation of such game. That is what it says. It's kind of as simple as that. Now, a lot of people interpreted this as to the point where, therefore, we're not allowed to data mine anymore. We're not allowed to show stuff which is in the files. We're not allowed to, have a look at things like that, because if you do, your account will get banned. Well, it's not that simple. The thing about the end user license agreement is this was last revised and effective on the 29th of December 2020. This is the same as the terms of use. They were both updated pretty much at the same time. And because of the fact that they were updated in December of 2020, well, we've had a lot of data mining since then, and it seems like nobody has got banned for it. Now, the thing that you have to understand as well is just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. It just means that it hasn't been enforced. And the thing that we have to go off is the fact that we do have public statements from individuals such as Esmin 1080p on the forums saying nobody is being punished as a result of anything. This was in response to a comment basically from Bart on the forums, basically talking about the issue that why are they going to punish the modding community, with the new user agreement edition. Obviously, it isn't new. It is it is 6 months old at this point, and it has been confirming that it's just him confirming that nobody is being punished for anything here. So if people are worried about being punished for data mining based on the user agreement sentence that is put in there, you have nothing to worry about, because at least right now, nobody has been banned for this, and nobody should be banned for this, which is a different conversation. So the best thing to do if you have thoughts about what you are able or what you aren't able to do when it comes to War Thunder, they actually leave contact details to their legal team. And it's much better to hit them up and ask them what's okay, even if you do get a bunch of really weird non-answers, which is very standard when it comes to the legal world. But if the point that I'm trying to make here is there has been a big fuss made over the last week or so after this leak on the fact that people are now going to start getting punished, obviously with certain changes, which we'll go into, happening. You know, Gaijin is cracking down on this stuff. But the thing is, if you look at everything that is available, they should have been cracking down on it if that was the case 6 months ago. And they haven't. There has been many different data mines. There has been many different videos made on this. I personally have never actually been told by Gaijin to not make a video. There are some very simple rules when it comes to, you know, stuff such as video making, or at least the ones that I've been told about. And there's just a simple one. Just don't lie. You know, don't create falsehoods around the game, and that's pretty much it. And the only time I've ever actually been contacted about a video I've been made was, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was when I was talking about the sales at a time, and I was converting Canadian dollar to US dollar, and the partnership manager at the time just said, you know, it's only in USD, we don't take Canadian dollar on the store. That's literally it. Right? The Gaijin are incredibly open when it comes to content creation. In my opinion, a little bit too open when it comes to certain things, because there are some, you know, content creators out there making ridiculously wild claims out there. But yeah, there are just simple rules, such as don't lie, you know, don't attack the devs in a malicious way, you know, e.g., you know, calling for the deaths of them or something like that. And if you follow these pretty simple rules, then you're able to kind of make what you want. Gaijin had a bit of an issue a few years ago when it came to one of their Russian creators, which we've talked about in the past, and it did end up with an individual actually getting fired, meaning that they, at least from the outside, sided with the content creator instead of with the employee, because the employee, at least in my opinion, was being unreasonable. We've talked about this in the past, and I don't really want to drag up you know, old issues to try and lambast individuals for what happened. So the main point of this video is to not be worried, to just kind of do what we've always been doing. You know, I think data mining is an incredibly important part of War Thunder, just because it gives individuals a sneak peek in what is happening. One of the issues that we've had with War Thunder over the years is not getting enough time and planning to actually get stuff done, e.g. events and stuff like that. So even getting a few days ahead and seeing what's being changed, even if we don't know what's being changed, just given an inkling on what's being changed, it means that stuff can be prepared. Stuff such as I said, like preparation for events, which is very important for individuals if the fact is that, you know, they have to work and stuff like that, so they have to care for family members. So data mining gives you a little step ahead to see what is going on. Now, there is a second factor here, which is what I'm going to go into. Because about, 5 days or 6 days ago, there was a perfect storm of things which kind of became a catalyst for the discussions that are happening today. So we had the leak. Then we had people realizing that the EULA exists and that it might be worth reading it. And then we had another thing which happened, which was probably one of the reasons why the leak stuff actually happened in the first place, or something to do with it. You know, Gaijin are never going to confirm or deny why it happened, you know, or who screwed up or why it screwed up. They're just going to say, yeah, unfortunate. But the fact is, when it came to the files, what they've actually done is they've changed how the way that files are stored in the game. And the reason for this, it was actually to reduce some of the loads on consoles, which actually has helped quite a lot when it comes to consoles, and also to optimize file storage. If you have actually done any data mining in the past, you'll know how for a very long time, a lot of the files have been all very janky. Like finding certain information about certain things, unless you have the correct third-party tools, has been very hard to do because it's just been all over the place. So during that time period of the last 4 or 5 days, they have adjusted how their files work and made it more optimal for consoles. Now, what a lot of people have taken this as, because what this also did is it broke the CDK, it kind of broke the asset viewer, I believe, as well. I'm not sure about that, but I believe it did. And then also, at the same time, it meant that those third-party tools that individuals used to be able to data mine also broke, because of course they would if you change the core directory. So because of this, a lot of people took it as the idea that Gaijin is trying to suppress information coming out when it comes to the game. They're trying to stop data mining, right? But this, in my opinion, is just a byproduct of what they were doing, where they were trying to restructure for the optimization and just to make it easier to be able to sort out. And unfortunately, stuff gets hit as it goes along. This happens a lot. For Update New Power, the CDK was actually broken for maybe a week or two after the launch of New Power. And also, the asset viewer was broken for a while as well, after one of the dev servers of New Power, I believe. And we go in this constant setup where, you know, something needs to be updated, it takes a while, then it's fixed, then it works again, then another update comes out, then it breaks again. But these ideas are never attributed to the idea that it is to stop data mining or it is to stop people, you know, looking at the files and see what is there. But because of this perfect storm which has happened over the last week, now people are attributing it to the fact that a bunch of stuff was leaked, which is just not true. It is as simple as that. I can understand why someone would, you know, go 2 + 2 is 4 in this case, but the issue is it's a completely different scenario where unfortunately the byproduct of 2 + 2 + 4 means that the 3 has been left out and therefore you can't make 7. If that makes sense to you. But yeah, a lot of the times they do break a lot of these things. And normally they get updated and fixed. And hopefully in the future, when it comes to the tools used for data mining, they will also be updated to be able to match what Gaijin has done and continue to do and continue to service the community in a way that is very necessary, in my opinion. Another thing as well that could also be put out there, as I said, these rules have at least been in place in the EULA for 6 months, remember. If they wanted to crack down on data mining, they wouldn't even have to ban anyone, even if, according to them, that would be, you know, justified by the user agreement. So therefore, you would be banned already if that was the case, which obviously, you know, they're not. Also, what they could do is they could remove stuff like the asset viewer. The asset viewer is something where a ton of stuff gets leaked from. Normally, the images, or all of the images that you saw on the video, or on the videos that we looked at last week, were all from the asset viewer. And those are generally things which are the ones which, you know, get leaked the most. Same with like the CDK as well. The CDK always has some interesting stuff in it that you can see. And the fact that these exist, the fact that you can download them publicly and you can enjoy them and you can create different things and you can use them to make skins or missions or even implement, you know, user models or vehicles in the game, shows that, at least to me, you know, Gaijin likes this stuff. If they didn't, they would just remove everything about them and stop and limit data mining. It's as simple as that. So for me, I see a lot of people being worried. I see a lot of people being angry. But I also see the same thing I've seen for years, which is a constant update cycle with the game, which breaks stuff, and then it gets fixed. And then we move on to the next thing. We fix whatever, you know, tools we're using before, and then we just go forward with it. It's kind of as simple as that. I don't think anybody's going to get banned. And I feel like if there were issues when it came to data mining, or when it came to the things that have been happening when it comes to the public side of it, I think I would have been told, you know. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, if Gaijin ever came to me and just said, you know, would you not make those videos? I would probably be like, yeah, sure. You know, at the end of the day, it's their stuff. It's their right to advertise it the way that they want. But at the same time, they haven't, and they won't, because once they go into that barrier, it creates a whole other kettle of fish, which, you know, we can talk about in the future if it ever actually happened. The main thing is, don't be worried. You know, everything will just continue as it continues. Turns out there's a bonus part to this video as well, because after recording and halfway through rendering this, there was actually a post which was put up on the Reddit from Scarpa, who, if you don't know who Scarpa is, he is a community manager for War Thunder. I've chatted to Scarpa. He's a very nice individual. I've always had positive interactions with the community managers of War Thunder. And he made a post basically talking about the changes to the Vrom and BLK formats on the files. And the post basically is for data miners. It is there to show, you know, the main changes to what has happened. So therefore, it gives us extra information on how to actually fix the tools that were used to be able to data mine. So this is a community manager giving insight into how the files were changed. So therefore, data miners can still data mine. He also put a comment talking about the actual rule in the EULA. He says, that's a cover all for odd occasions of bad use of our code. So basically, it doesn't even cover the area of data mining itself. One of the things to also mention as well is Scarpa isn't obviously part of the legal team at Gaijin, but he is a spokesperson for them. He is an employee of Gaijin and War Thunder in itself. So I'll leave links to both of these things in the description of the video. Make sure to go check them out. And just to show, once again, you can still data mine. See you later. I'd like to thank BRFC, Swollen Ostrich, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Lafouche, Barine, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.